a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. 2018 Anti-Muslim riots in Sri Lanka. Religious riots targeting Muslims began in the Sri Lankan town of Ampara on the 26th of February 2018, and had started in Kandy District by the 2nd of March. Muslim citizens, mosques and other properties were attacked by mobs of Sinhalese Buddhists, as well as attacks on Buddhists temples and Sinhalese citizens by mobs of Muslim. The government of Sri Lanka undertook a forceful crackdown on the rioting by imposing a state of emergency and deploying the Sri Lankan Armed Forces to assist the police in the affected areas. The situation was brought under control by the 9th of March. 2 fatalities and 10 injuries were reported among Sinhalese, Muslims, and police. According to the police, 45 incidents of damage to houses and businesses have been reported, while 4 places of worship have been attacked. The police have arrested 71 persons in connection with rioting. Rioting in Kandy District began in Udispattuwa and Teldeniya, later spreading to Digana, Tennekumbura and other areas. It was sparked when a middle-aged truck driver of Sinhalese ethnicity was assaulted by 4 Muslim youth following a traffic accident. The truck driver died of his injuries 4 days later. On the 5th of March, Sinhalese mobs began attacking Muslim properties in the region, resulting in widespread damage to property. The riots, the first large-scale Buddhist-Muslim sectarian violence since similar riots in 2014, prompted the government of Sri Lanka to declare a state of emergency for a period of 10 days. In addition to the police curfew already imposed on the district, the state of emergency is the first such since 2011. Social media networks including WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram were blocked in parts of the country in an effort to prevent mobs from organizing their attacks and spreading propaganda. However, the block on the social media networks were uplifted after 72 hours, and the cabinet minister, Harsha De Silva, further stated that the social media networks have been returned to normal conditions by 10th of March, 2018. After 3 days of raid in the main town of Kandy, at least 81 people were reported to have been arrested, including the main suspect, Amit Jeevan Weerasinga, by the Terrorism Investigation Division of the Sri Lankan Police in connection to the incident, as the situation has been under control by the forces. However, a curfew has been reimposed in the Kandy town until 9 March, 2018. The police officers state that the unusual situation which prevailed in the country for few days has been brought under control, but tight securities have been imposed in few parts of the nation, as the predicted threats have been focused on the Muslim prayers on the 9th of March, 2018, which is a Friday. The riots were denounced by Buddhist monks, and many Sinhalese and Buddhist monks rallied to protect and help Muslims and mosques during the prayers across the country. According to the government, independent observers, Muslims and Sinhalese in the area, the majority of the rioters came from other areas of Sri Lanka to carry out the riots. Background: despite mostly coexisting peacefully, many Sinhalese are suspicious of Muslims, believing that their slightly higher birth rates threaten their demographic supremacy, while others view Muslim businessmen as exploiting poor Sinhalese. Some political analysts believe that Sinhalese extremists are trying to transfer remaining hostility against Tamils onto the mostly Tamil-speaking Muslim population. Another factor is increasing Arab influence over Sri Lankan Muslim culture in recent years, including building of mosques using money coming from Arab countries, and Muslim women dress niqab unlike before. Sri Lanka has seen several communally charged incidents between the majority Sinhala community and the country's Muslim minority. Ampara district had experienced tensions since 2017, with Buddhist groups accusing Muslims of forced conversions and vandalizing Buddhist archaeological sites. The recent communal violence in Kandy is the first since the Black July violence, which occurred in 1983 between Tamils and Sinhalese Buddhists. This violence is also the first time such communal violence has occurred between Muslims and Buddhists in the district of Kandy since the 1915 Ceylonese riots, which was incited by the British administration. Ampara. Late at night on the 26th of February, a group of youths arrived at a restaurant on DS Senanayak Street in Ampara town. The meal served by the restaurant contained elements resembling tablets. The youth shared a video of the owner, a Muslim man, supposedly admitting that the food contained sterilization pills. The owner of the restaurant was physically attacked by a mob, who then spread the word about the incident. The police arrested the restaurant owner as a result of the video. The claim made by the video was later proven to be false. The owner had in fact nodded his head in fear of the angry mob, without actually knowing the Sinhala word Wandapeti, and thus without understanding the question he had been asked. Kandy District. At 2 p.m. on the 22nd of February 2018, a Sinhalese lorry driver from Ambala, Madama Hanuwara, was assaulted by 4 Muslim youths in Karaliyada, Teldeniya. The victim was admitted to the intensive care unit of the Kandy General Hospital and died on the night of the 2nd of March from his injuries. The victim's assistant was assaulted, admitted to hospital, and later discharged after treatment. The motive behind the attack has not been clearly established. Some reports state it stemmed from a road accident, where the trucker had damaged the wing mirror of an auto rickshaw the assailants had been traveling in while attempting to overtake it. All 4 suspects were reported to have been intoxicated. The suspects were arrested by the Sri Lanka police on the day of the attack, and remanded until 7 March. Ampara. An angry mob had launched attacks on several shops in the surrounding area of Ampara. Hotels at the vicinity of the mosque were also attacked by the mobs, with the police unable to bring the situation under control. The Special Task Force and police reinforcements were then dispatched from nearby police stations, which led to the mob dispersing. Areas with larger Muslim populations in Mautamanai, Samantharai, Akre Potu, Adalaikanai and Kalmunai and Ampara district were conducting hartals as response against the anti-Muslim riots. The protests resulted in 8 buses being damaged, while Tamil media reporters were protected by the police. 31 Muslim were arrested who were damaging public properties and released after warning. Kandy District. The first signs of violence were reported from Udispattuwa on the night of the 2nd of March as the body of the victim was being taken to Ambala. Groups set light to tires on the road as a sign of protest against the killing. The police, anticipating violence, deployed 1,000 Special Task Force personnel in and around the area, encompassing Moraga Amula, Udispattuwa, Teldeniya, and Ambega Holanda. Despite these efforts, 2 Muslim-owned shops in Moraga Amula were subjected to arson on the night of 4 March. 28 suspects were arrested for their involvement. General disorderly behavior and assorted violence associated to the killing by the residents of Teldeniya and outlying areas were also reported. The unrest spread to Digana on the morning of the 5th of March, when a large mob converged on the town, setting fire to a mosque, shops and houses. In response, police used tear gas and water cannons in an attempt to disperse the crowd, which saw retaliation from the mob through various projectiles, while the violence spread to more residences, shops and nearby vehicles. Traffic along the A26 was forced to a halt, and by 3 p.m., the police requested the support of the Sri Lanka Army, which deployed 200 troops from the Senar Regiment base in Digana in the evening. The police then followed up by declaring a state of curfew district-wide in Kandy until 6 a.m. on the 6th of March. The same curfew was reimposed on Teldeniya and Palakal at 8 p.m. on the 6th of March, after the body of a 24-year-old Muslim male was discovered within the remains of a shop in Digana. By the evening of the 6th of March, a total of 4 mosques, 37 houses, 46 shops and 35 vehicles were damaged or destroyed as a result of the riots in both Digana and other locations in the Kandy district. 1 confirmed fatality was reported. On the night of the 6th of March, mobs were observed in Lula and Balagola, moving towards Tennekumbura in the general direction of Kandy. An arson attack on a mosque in Tennekumbura was reported. High ambulance activity was reported from Menakana, and 7 people were arrested there for disorderly behavior and for causing unrest. The curfew put in place on the evening of the 6th of March was lifted briefly on the morning of the 7th. But soon reimposed. The 7th of March also saw Muslim residents of Malagama barricading themselves inside a local mosque after a Sinhala mob attacked their homes alleging theft of a donation box from a nearby Buddhist temple. The Muslims accused the police of inaction in the face of the mobs. One Sinhala male was reported to have died and another injured in an explosion of unknown origin in the course of the Malagama attacks. Some media reported his injuries sustained in an attack carried out by Muslim men, a reaction that a Buddhist monk at the Malagama temple said was precipitated by a projectile attack against his temple by Muslims earlier in the day. Kachagastota also saw anti-Muslim violence and arson, while a mob assembled in the Ambatana town centre after a Rum River temple being attacked. The mob then proceeded to damage property and engage in rioting. Other districts. Small incidents were reported in other districts against Muslims. Unknown group burnt a tire in front mosque in Medina Nagar, Vivurnia. However, police and army controlled the situation and gave security to the mosque. Some shops belonged to Muslims were damaged and assaulted on workers on those shops in Ambadena, Marthale. A grenade blast has also occurred in the ongoing communal violence in the nation as a hand grenade has been made to blast by a group of people, leaving one dead. The following incident has been reported following a few hours after the ban on social media networks. Response: Sri Lankan police arrested at least 81 rioters, including Amit Jeevan Weerasinga, the leader of the Sinhala Buddhist nationalist Mahasan Balakaya, who is believed to be the leading figure among the rioters, alongside Shodha Sawira, who was also arrested. Ampita Sumana Ratanathira was also seen alongside Amit during the riot and also demanded the release of those arrested by the police, but the Thira was not arrested. Sumana Ratanathira is known for his active participation in violence against Tamils and Muslims. Further, the main suspects were brought to Colombo for further inquiries. Ampara. Obstetricians and gynecologists denied that pills can cause permanent sterility, and stressed the need of surgical procedures such as vasectomy on males and tubal ligation surgery on females to cause permanent sterility. Director General of Health Services Dr. Anil Jaisingh also released a statement denying the existence of a method to sterilize a person through pills. Sri Lankan lecturer Dr. Muhammad Najimuddin from Malacca Manipal Medical College in Malaysia has also offered a prize of 1 million rupees to anyone able to prove sterilization medicines are being added to clothes or food in the country by various individuals. Health Minister Rajita Seenaratne also claimed that there are no such medicines ever discovered to sterilize a male. Sociologists and senior lecturers at University of Sri Jayawardenepura's Department of Sociology and Anthropology, Dr. Pranita Basundara and B.A. Tennyson Pereira, called for authorities and media to create awareness and dialogues among community leaders and clerics to counter such paranoia. On the 8th of March, the country's Government Analyst's Office confirmed the contents of particles alleged to be infertility/sterilization tablets were carbohydrate-based clumps of flour. Brought to you by WikiVidi documentaries. Would you like to know more?